Despite getting on a lot of people's nerves with their ads, PXG has established itself as one of golf's top manufacturers. Now, their irons have long been competitive with other top companies, but the drivers and woods, not so much. The question is now, is the Black Ops series finally PXG's entrance into the big leagues?
Okay, so I'm going to use my driver as a baseline to compare with the PXG, the two different heads. I'm using a TSR2 9-degree standard settings. I'll be swinging kind of at my golf course speed to compare sort of the performance between the two of them. Maybe towards the end with the Tour-1 low-speed model, we'll give it a couple of extra swipes. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty typical one for me. Slightly low in the face, slightly low launch, slightly high spin, but I'd be happy with it. That struck a little better. Launched a little higher, spun a little less, but actually wasn't quite as quick. But again, two good drives I'd be happy with. A little bit of a high toe one. Results are good, and that's kind of what I like about this driver. Like, I'm certainly not one to hit the middle of the face every time, but I do feel like I keep the ball in play quite a bit better with this driver being, reasonably forgiving, not super low spin, not super low launch. It's just very good overall, which is why I want to use it as a baseline to compare. Yeah, and that one's good. Well struck. Okay. Let's have a quick look at this average here. So just as I said, swinging comfortably, golf course speeds, we're around 175 miles an hour ball speed, 11 launch, 2,500 spin on average. This is pretty typical for me, golf course numbers. Okay, so first just the standard Black Ops model here. I do think it's a better looking club overall than the last couple of years of PXG drivers. I think I like the finish and kind of the choices they made with the carbon fiber on the sole and the address position. It is obviously quite a big driver, being the 10K MOI. Pretty much every single driver this year that's 10K MOI is big, kind of needs to be. So that I wouldn't say is a negative. The only thing with this that I don't love is it does seem to look a little bit upright at address. I do have this on the flat setting, so it probably is just a bit of a trick of the eye with where the hosel kind of blends into the crown there. I don't think it actually is all that upright. I think it maybe just be a bit of a visual thing, but yeah, overall I think it's an improvement over what I've seen from PXG drivers the last couple of years. It's pretty good for a first one. Hit it. Pretty bad in the toe. It's a great result. Wasn't the quickest. I didn't swing the quickest either, but that's a good result. It's a nice one too. Yeah, it'd probably take me a few swings to feel comfortable with it. I think my club head speed's down a couple miles an hour. Obviously my driver is one that I'm very comfortable with, so I kind of let it go. I think I just need to see a few of these straight ones and start picking up the speed. But I mean, yeah, the numbers are very similar on a good strike there. Launch a little low, spin a little high, more so because I'm just not hitting super up on it anymore. And this is more my typical delivery, so far so good. Struck a little better. Yeah, a little bit more ball speed there, 174. For a big driver, I think it sounds pretty good. It's obviously like super carbon fibery sounding, which obviously is because it is super carbon fibery. In the very quiet echo chamber that I'm working in right now, I would say if I can't tell what a driver sounds like here, I can't tell what it sounds like anywhere. It is not as solid sounding to me as mine, but I think it's probably one of the better large drivers in terms of sound. Feel pretty good. It's a bit firm off the face. That would be my only criticism. It certainly doesn't feel bad. It does feel nice and solid off the face. It does feel a little bit firm, and I'm hitting a Pro V1 here, so. Off the bottom of the club. Yeah, awfully forgiving. I mean, that probably should have spun at like 4,000. I really bottomed that. Not bad. It's probably the best one I've hit with it. Yeah, 10.6 launch, 2,400 ball speed. I mean, I think it actually performs really quite close to my driver when you strike them about the same. Yeah, I think the more swings I make with it, I'm getting a little more comfortable. Starting to strike a little better, swing a little faster. The efficiency's pretty good. I mean, at 175 ball speed there, it wasn't my quickest swing either. We swung very similar speed, maybe slightly quicker with the Titleist. I would call that maybe just comfort zone. So we see a little less ball speed relative to the clubhead speed. We're seeing a slightly lower launch and almost exactly the same spin. This is really the way that I want to play on the golf course. I don't want to be launching it high, spinning it low. I want to hit more fairways, flying the ball 300 yards without having to do anything freakish with the launch conditions. A little bit more of like a 9 launch, mid-2000 spin. It's really good. The driver performs extremely well. Probably I say this to a lot of people, the best compliment I can give a driver that's come out recently is whether it kind of reminds me of my TSR2 or whether it kind of gives me similar results or is capable of similar results. There's been a couple drivers that I would say I've mentioned that same kind of comment. The new Dark Speed X, I would say, reminds me a lot of my TSR2 in many ways. And I have to say this guy is performing admirably. Again, it's far and away the best PXG driver I've tried. It would be performance-wise, something I'd be confident in playing. Is it my exact preference in terms of looks and sound and feel? Maybe not, but it is a very good driver, very adjustable. I was literally just using it in stock, mostly settings, just a bit of a flat setting there, and it does great. Okay, so moving into the Tour-1 model. In terms of looks, sort of the finish, the carbon fiber, the graphics on the crown, it is the same as what you'll see from the standard Black Ops driver, but it is way, way smaller. This is probably one of the most compact heads at address that I think anyone's made in recent years anyway. It looks nice, it looks very rounded, a little bit less of sort of the flat push down look that the 10K MOI models tend to have. I think it looks really good. This is not the first time I've hit a couple balls with this. I did try it a few days ago just to see what I was gonna see. I saw some of the most freakish low spin I've ever seen out of a driver. So knowing that, I'm gonna need to hit up on this more, probably swing faster to make it work properly for me. That's a good start. Yeah, that's got some low spin, really low spin. Wow, okay, we'll take that. And I'll try to ramp the speed up a little bit. As I said at the beginning, I'm trying to make these videos a bit more at golf course speed because otherwise I have the energy to make about 1 video a month. So I will push myself a little bit. Let's definitely get into the 180s here. The driver's very efficient. I mean, that swing there wasn't exactly having to kill it. We're getting up to 178 ball speed pretty quick. The launch is up because I'm swinging up more on, so I'm hitting up on the ball 3 degrees now where I was close to level earlier, so that's more on me. The spin rate, that would be the driver. That's off the low part of the face, but wow, it still has no spin on it. Yeah, 8 millimeters low. Generally, you'll see the spin kick up, and it did not. Yeah, kind of impressed. 3 drives, 3 different strikes, spin within 100 RPMs. You don't actually see that all that often. Wow. I generally don't hit low spin drivers very straight. Kind of impressed with this thing being very under control. Usually I set up to these and I'm like, oh God, I better square the face up perfect, better strike it perfect. Pretty much every single one of these drives would have been in the fairway. And they're a good 20 yards longer on average than what we saw from the other heads. And that's not a detraction to those other heads. It's not a detraction to the standard Black Ops or the TSR2. This thing is meant to really knuckle the spin. There we go. Wow. 179.6. It's really good. I mean, it's just several drives in a row that would be in the fairway at 335 plus. I'll be quick but spinny. Not spinny, wow. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I hit that kind of low in the face. I thought it would be like a high 2000 spin. Yes, I swung faster, so we got lots of ball speed. Actually slightly more efficiency, so it is a little bit of a faster ball speed head than the other 2 models. Not surprised. Usually the forward CG low center gravity heads are faster. Launch angle is, let's say, similar, but obviously quite a lot less spin. And we're hitting it a good 20 yards carry further on average, and obviously an appropriate amount of total. So I think a lot of people watching this video would have clicked on it to find out, is PXG now making a driver that can keep up, that can compete with the other top brands that I would carry here, Titleist, Ping, all those kind of brands. Is it worth considering them in a fitting now, whereas in the past, maybe there'd be a little bit of a trade-off on performance? I would say pretty confidently that when it comes to drivers and this new Black Ops line, that we can officially welcome PXG to the big leagues.